Good Saturday morning, and welcome to another exciting edition of Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We talk outdoors every Saturday morning right here in Memphis from 9 to 10:30 on AM 790. Of course, in Brownsville from 6 to 7:30 on 1520 AM, 95.3 FM. And, of course, in Jackson, Tennessee, News Talk 101.5. And it sounds like, even though he's in an airplane, it sounds like he's the pilot of that airplane. Bill Cooksey's on the line. He's heading south, right, Bill? I mean,
yeah, I am. I'm headed southeast or east-southeast. I'm not sure. I need to pull out a compass and see.
Well, it says South Africa where you're heading. You know, and I don't know if we've ever had one of our co-hosts heading to South Africa on Outdoors with Larry Ray. This is kind of cool. Good Saturday morning, Bill Cooksey. Thanks for joining us, and we're going to talk to Bill. We're going to devote a segment to Bill because I want to find out what's going on with him and everything. And we have brought in, of course, the webmaster himself, Guy Trebo from LarryRay.com.
Morning, Larry.
Good morning, Guy. And the man, we do not recognize him. He's kind of blended into the wall over there. He doesn't have on his full body armor like he might have, but the Bassin man himself, Hillbilly, David Beal. Hey, David.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you, David, for joining us. We're going to talk a lot of fishing. We get David in here. We got Bill Cooksey on the line. We got Guy in here. Of course, Shelby McCall is taking care of us. Before we do anything, I got an announcement, okay? Between this time and last Saturday, I didn't know if my cancer was back or not, folks. So I went Monday this week. I had a CT scan once they found my vein. And then I got my news. It's good news. No cancer. And I'm on the way back. Okay?
Hallelujah.
All right.
Hallelujah.
How about
Very
that
good.
applause? Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. I have had so many people contact me. Yes, I did lose 14 pounds. You folks know I can't afford to lose 14 pounds. That was back at my playing weight from college. It wasn't my high school weight. I weighed 111 when I graduated from high school.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I flunked my Army physical by 1 pound. When I took my physical, and they said, "Mr. Ray, can you gain 1 more pound, and we'll take you on to Vietnam." Well, I struggled with that for a long time, but this Cooksey's laughing back there. The old boy in front of me, he dropped a brick on his foot, thought he wouldn't have to go, and they took him right off. Anyway, great news. Got a wonderful cancer doctor in Bill Walsh. Great news, and so see him in 3 months. But it was kind of scary there for a week, and so I appreciate all the prayers, the texts, the emails, the calls, and everything like that. I know I had a lot of people, not only at the Odyssey family here, but through my church and through my friends, and including these 3 special people in the room this morning, and that other special person on the line on his way to South Africa. I'm still kind of in the haze of that, Bill. I'm getting that. We're going to talk to Bill about how that all worked out. You know, how he's going to South Africa. But really, so it's been a great week in the Ray household, and we're back doing what we love to do as we roll into our 25th year on the air, part of the Odyssey family here. And there is a missing part of our show today. Mr. Ron Wong is still sick, folks. He has got the flu badly.
Shocking.
Yes, and you know when Ron doesn't go to the Bassmaster Classic, David Beal,
That's right.
he is sick.
Yeah, he's done.
And they've all asked about him and everything, so I checked with him before we went on the air today. He's still taking that Tamiflu, and he's coughing and everything like that, but he appreciates all the people that got him on their prayer list. But hopefully we'll get Ron back next week. If everything works, we'll find out, because we hope to have the Classic champion. You know, I've been to 5 or 6 of these things of the Classic, David. I know it's a special event. You know that.
Oh, absolutely.
And
big event.
Man, we had a great time last week with 5 competitors at the Classic. Guys got it all played out on LarryRay.com, but we all picked our winners and everything. I'm not going to tell you how it's gone so far, because you know the cutout. They only get 25 in the finals on Sunday.
That's right.
And, I know who I picked. I know who Wong picked, and I'm not going to tell you anything about that till next week. And we hope to have the winner on there. But,
Larry, I should just get in there and y'all just pick me.
David, I'd love for you to be there. It's an amazing event. It's still the Super Bowl of bass fishing. And Bill, have you ever been to the Classic?
Yes, sir. I was at the Knoxville Classic, 2 years ago?
Yes.
Unbelievable event. I guess
Right.
it's going back there soon.
It's going next year. It's going next year. Yeah.
Folks, get over there.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It
really
is. When they bring all those boats in and they start holding up that weight, but it's not just that. David, Bill, you better take your checkbook because there's a lot of fishing lures and all the stuff like that. But the expo's going on now. This is Saturday. If you want to drive to Fort Worth, head on down there. We've hopefully had the last cold front of the year. I don't know if that'll be true or not. But,
Right.
I had to have a rock in my pocket to walk around this week. I'm down to skin and bones. I'm glad I'm not playing shirts and skins.
I hope that rock was 1 pound.
It was a pound rock in both pockets, everywhere I could handle. At least it didn't blow away my hair like some people. So, but it's been quite a week. And before we get to it, so Guy.
Yeah.
I know I'm sending you information. We'll have a lot of classic stuff. They just had the media day down there. I've sent it to Guy. It should be posted pretty soon. I only did that one time. Got to fish in the boat with Taka Amara. You know him. I'm sure you know that.
Close
Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Close enough. And he ate my bait. So, I mean, I ate his lunch. I don't mean that figuratively, but I did. But, it's he was a relatively new person, and I went down there and I interviewed him, and he didn't know what I said, and I didn't know what he said, but it made a great interview. But, we're loaded down now. Tell them what's going on at LarryRay.com.
Well, some of the more interesting things you might want to read. They just elected the latest 3 to the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame.
Yes, they did.
This week.
Yes. And we're going to have at least one of those on the show in the future because there are 3 well-known names. Craig Lamb is one of those.
Yeah, and he is he's a big part of bass fishing on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Craig
he was there.
He
TNN and all the back then and things like that.
They called him Forrest Wood's caddy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he hung around. But, I mean, you think about how far that's come.
Yes.
When I first heard that they were going to put people playing cards on TV, I thought that's the stupidest thing ever.
Playing cards.
Like, I'm not going to watch it, but it actually
the World Series of Poker.
They make it interesting.
They do make it
interesting. And bass fishing on TV, I started watching it, and of course
I
watched Bill Dance for many years. But the tournament fishing is fun to watch because you just want to see what's coming out of that water. And I'll tell you, one of the Bassmaster Classics, I wish I could remember who it was.
Yeah.
He hooked into about a 9-pound fish. It was on the last day.
I can't remember. They do that a lot.
That sounds like Rick
and
Clun.
Yeah, it might have been Rick Clun.
Yeah, it wasn't.
They honored him
That
for
like
his
Rick
50.
Clun.
They honored Rick. He was one of the personalities with somebody from the media. I can't imagine getting in the boat with Rick Clun.
Well, this was more recently.
Okay.
Okay.
He's been in 50 of them.
He lost.
I know.
This guy lost the fish, and he sat down on the boat and put his head in his hands. And those guys don't waste any time.
Oh, no.
You're fishing 100 miles. He sat down, and he knew that fish might have won me the whole thing, and he ended up being second.
Oh,
that
wow.
Fish, it was a huge.
Jesus.
So, I mean, it's fun to watch. So, the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, William Shakespeare made it.
Yes.
After writing all those plays, he's one of the
I don't think that's the right Shakespeare guy, but that's okay.
All right, maybe.
We all
Close enough, yeah.
Yeah, Shakespeare Jr.
I know. We all had a Shakespeare rod and reel.
Right.
He was born in 1867, I think. So I'm
you lost
thinking
the
he's
audience
not
there.
alive.
You lost the audience there.
Well, we've all had Shakespeare fishing gear. That's
yes,
for
we
sure.
have. Yeah.
But he's going in, and then the other guy, I wish I could remember his name at the moment. But
you'll think about it. You'll look it up for us.
Yes, but it's all there on the website. You might want to look at. Do you know what the triple Trophy is?
Yes, I know what it is. Yeah.
Well, tell everybody what it is.
What it is at Bill Cooksey? You know what the Triple Trophy is, don't you?
No idea, Larry. You tell me.
If I'm not mistaken, the Triple Trophy is muzzleloader, rifle,
Arkansas Game and
and
Fish,
archery.
They will give you a certificate and
Yes.
a party or something.
If you kill a deer, that's their Triple Trophy.
In one deer season, you have to use a modern day
Yes.
shotgun,
Yeah.
a muzzle loader,
Yeah.
one with a muzzle, and one with a
Bow.
crossbow.
With
Yeah.
a bow.
A bow or
Doesn't
archery.
have to be archery. Yeah.
You get those 3 in one season, you will be recognized forever.
Well, you ought to be. You
Yeah.
ought to be.
Oh,
I've never
wow.
done that before, but Cooksey probably has. I mean,
I have, but it's been a little bit.
it's been a little bit. Okay. Yeah.
But never in Arkansas.
Never in Arkansas.
But
okay.
does it have to necessarily be in Arkansas?
Yes, it's got to be in
Yeah.
Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah, for the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. And let me quickly, we've got a couple of minutes on this segment before we talk about Bill's trip. But we are going to talk to Jeremy Brown of the Arkansas Game and Fish Deer Management Assistant Program, who just won a big national award. And speaking of that, back-to-back, our good friend Trey Reid, the Arkansas Game and Fish Assistant Chief of Communications, he was named our own Ducks Unlimited 2025 Conservation Communicator of the Year. And that's a big deal, isn't it, Cooksey?
That's a very big deal. And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
It couldn't, because he and I have newspaper in our roots. He was the outdoor editor at the Arkansas, or what, the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
Correct.
For many, many years. We're going to talk to Trey. Then we're going to Gaston's, one of my favorite places, to talk to Jake Hanson about what's going on trout fishing. And we're going to close this last segment out with our D&D segment. What does that mean? Dynamite and something? What does that mean, David Beal, you think?
Dynamite indefinitely.
Our two Davids, David Best and David Beal, are going to wrap up this show today. And we'll talk to David Beal, of course, during the show. Talking about fishing in the Mid-South. We have had some goofy weather, 50s in the 50s Thursday, 75 Wednesday, 51-mile-an-hour wind. If anybody was fishing, I guarantee it was probably Billy Doyle on the Wolf River, where you get back in there and get out of the wind.
That's right.
That had to be the only place. But anyway, going to be a fun show. We're going to take a break right now. And we're going to ride on the big plane as Peter, Paul, and Mary on, getting on a jet plane and heading to South Africa with our good friend Bill Cooksey. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we sit in on this Saturday morning, which is technically third Saturday, but we kind of rotated these things around because Mr. Wong is not in Fort Worth at the Classic. He's still recovering from the flu, but we are happy to have David Beal and Bill Cooksey in his co-host. David is in studio, and Bill is getting ready to really explore the world. And the only thing I can say about this, my stepmom, she flew to New Zealand. It took her 22 hours. She went in, she was 81, and she came out, and she's 86, I think, so.
That's metric.
That's metric, yeah, and she passed the date line twice, but our good friend Bill Cooksey, of course, you folks know him. Bill, we try to get Bill. He is the Associate Director. I'm going to get this title in, Bill. Associate Director of Strategic Partnerships for the Tennessee Wildlife Federation. And Bill informed me earlier this week, I said, Bill, can we get you on this week? Because he's going to be out of town. Nobody's been more out of town on this trip than Bill Cooksey. Because you are heading so I guess you're on your way now technically on this Saturday morning, but you flew out of Nashville, is that right?
No, I flew out of Memphis
Okay.
Friday afternoon.
Okay.
And flew to Atlanta, and then from Atlanta, it's a 15-hour flight to Johannesburg.
Non-stop, we hope. Yeah. So.
It is. Yeah, better be. There's not a lot of places to stop in between.
Canary Islands and places like that, you could.
But we land, it'll be about noon Memphis time. It'll be 7 in the evening in Johannesburg this evening.
Well,
spend the night at a hotel in the airport, and then get on another plane in the morning and fly to Polokwane.
Polokwane.
That sounds like it'll pick us up.
That sounds like Hawaii. I mean, you sure you're getting the right country here?
Sounds like an illness.
Yeah,
Sure.
an illness. Trebo said it sounded like an illness. But so talk about this, Bill. I know your dad. Your dad, he was the third, right? I mean,
He was.
Okay,
That's
and
correct.
you're the fourth, and Bill Jr. is the 12th, or whatever he is.
Something like that.
Something like that. But your dad had done this, but this is your first time. So talk about.
Well, my dad never got to go to Africa. He
Oh, he
hunted
didn't? That's
everywhere
right.
else.
He hunted
Europe and all these other places, but
Yeah.
never was able to make an African trip, and he always wanted to. So that's what that kind of makes this even more special.
Yeah, because this is something even your dad didn't do. So talk about this, if you don't mind, because this is a trip of a lifetime, unless we're Joella Bates, and she goes about every second year. So, when she with her bow and arrow, but you're not going with a bow and arrow. So talk about how this developed.
Well, Africa is a place I've always wanted to go, but it's always been just a little bit out there financially. Where
Oh,
I'm
really?
like, man,
Yeah.
I would have to take a couple of years off of duck hunting, or I'd
You're
have
not
to
gonna do
give up things I wasn't ready to give up.
Right. Yeah.
But a good friend of mine called me back in August and said, "Cooks, I just bought a African hunt package at a banquet last night. I want you to go with me."
Oh my. Good
So,
friend.
He's got a good deal on it, and so I'm one of the guests he's taking along. I had to get airfare and taxidermy, and if I want to shoot animals beyond what are on the outfitter's package deal,
Right. Yeah.
I'll have to pay for those. So but I said yes immediately, and then I started, okay, how am I going to afford this?
Yeah.
When I saw what the airline tickets were, but in reality, I know there are a lot of people around Memphis. I mean, there are people who've gone to Africa, obviously, but a lot of folks go out west hunting elk.
Yes.
And an outfitted elk hunt,
It's not
generally
cheap.
is
Yeah.
a lot more expensive than a basic plains game hunt in Africa.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
And basically, that's what you'll be doing, a basic plains hunt. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll be hunting plains game.
Okay.
Such
I'll be
as?
hunting plains game.
Such as?
Impala, zebra, bloodstock, warthog.
Right.
Yeah. Warthog.
Yeah, Pumbaa.
Yeah. So you take your own rifle, or they supply the rifle? Huh?
You can take your own rifle, but obviously that just adds complexity to the whole thing. And the biggest rifle I own is a 270, and that's kind of on the. It'd be fine for Impala, but it's kind of on the low end for the other stuff.
Yeah.
So, I'll be using one of the outfitters' rifles, and theirs are all suppressed.
Oh, they are. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
And that's common in other parts of the world. Parts of Europe, you're required to have a suppressor on a rifle.
I got mine. Yeah, I know.
Which and here when it's like some kind of voodoo awful stuff, and you're a criminal even wanting one, and in these countries where most people don't even get to own guns, suppressors are required. It's kind of backwards.
And you've looked, and you know where you're going. This is not you're not this is not a pup tent and places like that.
It's a nice lodge.
It's a nice lodge. You'll eat the food, and you'll
it'll be a nice experience. We won't be roughing it other than when we're out hunting.
So how long are you there? What's the time frame here?
So we hunt for we'll hunt Sunday afternoon, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Wow. Yeah. That's a pretty exclusive hunt. I mean, that gives you opportunities to not only hunt but also see and visualize, and I know take photographs. Right. I mean, this is a trip of a lifetime.
Absolutely.
Particularly,
and if we already decided if we get the animals that we want early enough, we're going to take a day and go spend it in the park.
Yeah.
Where you really get to see everything.
Yeah. And I'm sure we've talked Bill into maybe giving us a report on LarryRay.com when he gets back with some photographs of this trip. I've known some people have been there, and a lot of people you would not realize go to that. I know my friend from a long time ago, Reverend Bill Atkins, who's now the minister at Greater Armani Church, which used to be Broadmoor and things, and Bill, of course, I've known back in my prep days. I was always surprised when Bill had been over there as a pastor and doing those things, but it is a trip of a lifetime, and the opportunity to go there, and I guess you feel safe. I mean, this is a crazy world, Bill.
I do. I mean, the one place you would have to worry, I mean, it's like any city in the U.S.
Johannesburg at night.
Not to say Johannesburg is probably more dangerous than any city in the U.S., but that's why we're staying in the hotel inside the airport.
At the airport, so you won't.
You don't. They wouldn't come pick us up at night.
Yeah.
So we're staying in the airport, and not leaving, because that's when people get in trouble.
Yes.
Nighttime.
Yeah.
And you're obviously a tourist, and bad things can happen. But other than that, it's just a non-issue.
And when you go out in the morning in the bush, I'm assuming your guide's there, and he'll determine what you're going to do and things along that line.
Correct.
What you
can. You have a pH with you at all times when you're out hunting.
All times. And,
all times.
Yeah, and the quarry and things along that line, the things you get to see is not only things that you can shoot, but you can't shoot. I mean, which is almost like a living experience. It's a long way from the safari farm in Trenton, Tennessee, I think, Alamo, Tennessee. I mean.
Yep. Well, I think over there you can shoot just about anything if you're willing to pay for it.
If you're willing to pay for it, and that's
they kind of do it backwards from us. We require you to buy a license to try to go shoot something.
Yeah.
There you go shoot it and then you pay for it.
Yeah.
So,
it's a trip of a lifetime, and I know that it really perked my interest when Bill told me about it and said, "You got to get on this week's show, Bill." And so what's going on with the Federation while we got you here on the line, and you'll be listening?
It's been a big several weeks during the legislative session now.
Yeah.
The wetlands thing, I don't know if you saw Bill Dance's video he did about wetlands.
Yes, I did.
Posted the other day.
We need to get
that. That's, those bills are kind of working their way through, and we're hopeful that we're going to get to a decent compromise.
Yeah.
That where nobody's going to be completely happy, and that's probably where, we'd rather do that than fight it again next year. I mean, you don't want to keep having that same fight. But otherwise, it's been a very busy session. There's going to be a lot coming out relating to sportsmen, such as a baiting bill.
Yes.
That's likely to pass.
You think that will pass? The baiting bill will pass? Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
This is the first time we haven't fought a baiting bill.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because
we're not fighting it because they seem to be doing it as well as it can be done, and they're going to give TWRA a lot of latitude to make sure it's implemented in the most practical and safest way for the wildlife.
Well, you've done so much, and I know this is I'm already getting reports from Kendall McCarter. It's give time too. I mean, the Federation can always use money, right? So I mean,
absolutely. I mean, we don't. That's how we get money. I
mean, it is.
If we do good things, hopefully people appreciate it and help out a little bit.
Well,
we've had a huge year. With Hunters for the Hungry.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember the numbers, but set a record there, and even have a record number of kids participating in SCTP.
That's every year it gets bigger, and it's kind of really safe, because we're going to talk to a young man with the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission that part of his job is feeding the Hunters for the Hungry in Arkansas. And that's such a big event. Matt Simcock is on with us a couple of times every year, I think, with the talking about that event. But this is an opportunity. Bill's been on the job with the Federation. How long now, Bill?
I started the last week of September.
And when he started, he said, "I think I'll go to South Africa next year."
Well, that was part of my negotiations because I got offered the trip before they even talked to me the first time about coming to work for them.
Oh, really?
Said, okay, I'm interested, but understand this week in March I will be gone.
You will be gone, and you will definitely be gone. All right.
The first job discussion actually centered around a vacation.
Okay. Well, you need a vacation, Bill. This is quite a vacation. Don't send me a card with no stamp. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we roll into our 25th year on the air. Yes, I do have a lot of information about God's country on this show. It's my show. I'm from Arkansas. I guess I can talk, but I try to give equal representation to Tennessee. Do I, Cooksey? I try, don't I, Cooksey? I mean,
you do your best, Larry.
It's hard. I do my best, but it's hard. And so when I get some good information from our good friend Randy Zeller with the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, of course, Randy has roots right here in Bartlett, a suburb of Memphis. He tells me these things, and so I got a back-to-back Arkansas Game and Fish segments on today's show. And it's always fun when you recognize someone who works in wildlife, and I know Cooksey will echo that, Guy Trebo will echo that we want to promote these guys because sometimes their job is never-ending, it seems like. But recently, the National Deer Association named Jeremy Brown. He is the Deer Management Assistance Program Coordinator, which is a longer title than Bill Cooksey, for the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. And you can't get that on a T-shirt, guy. You know that because that's too many words.
It'll be tight.
He is the 2024 National Deer Association Professional Deer Manager of the Year. And that's a pretty long title, too. But first of all, congratulations, Jeremy Brown.
Hey, I greatly appreciate it, Larry. Those long titles, I've always been told the longer the title, the more important the person, but I don't know if that's very true.
Oh, I think that's really because my title is just nothing, compared to yours here. But based out of God's country over there, of course, northeast Arkansas and Jonesboro, where Outdoors with Larry Ray, you can listen to if the wind's right sometimes and the sun's up in the right direction. But, Jeremy, getting this award, give me your feelings on this. I mean, I'm assuming your good friends at the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission had to nominate you. And then what were your feelings when you understood that you got this award? It's a pretty highlight for a man that's been almost 17 years with the Game and Fish Commission. Talk about your feelings with this award, Jeremy.
Yeah, I was certainly very, very, very honored. It actually caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it at all.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. They never really owned up to who actually nominated me, but I certainly appreciate it nonetheless. And, man, when they told me that, I almost got speechless there for a while. I didn't have time to process it. I spend more time trying to help and support others and get the program running, and it just caught me. And I was like, wow, it's time to, take a deep breath and soak this in for a minute. So it was a true honor, especially when it's a nationally recognized organization like NDA. Just very honored, and words really can't explain it. They always say that you make sure you appreciate all those that come into play. But, man, the work that I do, it takes a village.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
We say that a lot, and we probably still take that for granted. But the true fact is that I'm just one person in a piece of a puzzle, and thankfully this puzzle is getting put together in the right way. I've got from the field workers all the way up to our commission at the Game and Fish and our directorate, the support from the top down. And when you get down on the ground kicking dirt with some of these landowners and deer hunting clubs, to make that come full circle is such a rewarding feeling, knowing that, yes, you're dealing with the money, yes, you're dealing with the program, you're dealing with the politics, but when it reaches it all the way to the ground and shows success, it's just really rewarding that whole process come to fruition.
And you mentioned the words that I like in the press release. I don't know if Randy wrote it or Keith wrote it or Trey or any of them, on the ground. They said there's a true testament to Jeremy's work ethic and attitude because you are on the ground. I don't know how much time you spend in the office. That's a requirement, I know. But to be out with your team, CWD response team, your deer team, you're on the board for the Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry, which is one of our things that we keep up here, the Southeast Deer Study Group Deer Committee and the Southeast Deer Technical Committee. It looks to me like, Jeremy, that you've been in this position, you said, for about 3.5 years. This looks like this is where you belong, buddy.
Yeah, I'm in my wheelhouse. I'm definitely really comfortable doing what I'm doing, and I like kicking dirt with the landowners.
Yes.
Really, because most of Arkansas is privately owned. 85% or
That's
greater
right.
of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when the rubber's meeting the road, that's where you got to go to. And when I build a relationship, or when our staff, when the team builds that relationship with the landowner,
Yeah.
success will breed itself.
Well, let me. I'm going to insert right here, Bill Cooksey. Listen to this. You're resulting in a total of 712 participating clubs, representing 1.4 million acres of habitat.
Yes, sir.
You need a team, don't you, Jeremy?
we need a big team,
Yeah.
and we continue to grow. So the support from above equates success on the ground when you're building relationships, and when you're dealing and you're impacting over 1 million acres, and hopefully we can grow it even more.
Yeah.
That don't happen by one person.
No.
That's everyone working together.
So what's your background, Jeremy? Where are you from originally?
Well, I'm actually originally from Northeast Arkansas.
There you go. So you're home. Okay.
Yeah. I live 30 minutes from Memphis. I went to college there at Arkansas State University.
Okay.
Got a bachelor's and a master's degree from there. And I was just fortunate enough. My very first job was right there on the St. Francis River, working at the sunken lands with the game and fish.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, I got to ask you, so what little small town did you grow up in then?
If you've ever heard of it, it's a little town called Caraway.
Listen, buddy, my wife is from Mississippi County. My wife's from Mississippi County, okay? I mean, so.
I'm right in the corner where Mississippi County meets Craighead
I know
County.
where Caraway is, buddy, and to see your roots are there and you've stayed there. So this was your dream, to work for the Game and Fish Commission coming out of college?
It was. In 8th grade of high school, I knew I wanted to work in wildlife.
Come on, 8th grade. And I mean, a lot of my friends never got out of the 8th grade. So I'm just saying, yeah. You knew what you wanted to do, okay? Yeah.
A lot of my friends change their mind 8 times a year.
That's right. Yeah. So the rewarding part of this job, Jeremy, I know that this award is something, but from your perspective, and maybe we're going to get into this, a couple other things. Your perspective, what's the most rewarding part of your job?
I'll be honest, it's the landowners, seeing success in the landowner's eyes. They have a goal, and they have a challenge to meet it. Managing property is not easy.
No, that's right.
I help them achieve a goal that they had in their life, whether it's deer numbers or deer habitat, or whatever that may be. Just knowing that I've helped that landowner, and we've shed a positive light on hunting, and we're spreading the good word about how hunting manages our populations.
Well, you also do good, and Cooksey, listen to this, because I know the Tennessee Wildlife Federation does such an amazing job. Matt Semcock and you folks, Bill, with your group about the Hunters for the Hungry. In 2024, 37 clubs and 10 nonprofit clubs, these are DMAP, donated 556 deer, processed into 20,000 pounds of venison that went to the Arkansas Food Pantry. Cooksey, what do you think about that?
That's a whole lot of people that needed some protein getting some good meat.
Yeah. And so when you hear that, Jeremy, what about you?
Well, that's a big deal to me. I mean, we set out with a vision. I talked with Ronnie Ritter with Hunters Feeding Hungry here in Arkansas. What's success in your eyes? He said, man, if I could just get a couple hundred extra deer, I think we would be doing real good for our state. And when we produced that 557 deer, I mean, think about it. That's nearly 18,000 pounds of deboned meat.
Deboned meat,
That these schools school kids that the snack sticks programs were getting.
Yeah.
And I don't know how familiar you are, but Arkansas has now recently been ranked number 1 in food insecurity. So we knew we had to do something, and this right here makes me feel good that we're helping work towards getting us off that number 1 ranked food insecure state in the nation.
I did not realize it. Of course, I know there are parts of Arkansas that I've been to every county, I guess, during my lifetime over there, and know where things are going. But I know how important outdoors is in Arkansas, though, Jeremy. I mean,
that's right.
When you look at anything the Game and Fish does, they step right up, whether it's trout fishing, which we'll talk a little bit later in the show, or whether right after you, our good friend Trey Reid wins this big award from Ducks Unlimited, based right out of Memphis here. And again, we're talking to Jeremy Brown. He is the Arkansas Game and Fish Deer Management Assistant Program Coordinator, who just recently was named the 2024 NDA Professional Deer Manager of the Year, which is a big honor for Jeremy. So Jeremy, now that you won this honor, I guess you're going to retire pretty soon. Is that right? I mean,
I don't know if retirement's in the plans for me, but I'm just hoping I take the next step forward.
Well, buddy, we appreciate you being on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Again, congratulations, and keep up the good work. We got your number. If we need you, we'll stay in touch. Okay, Jeremy? All right?
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, buddy. Have a great day. All right.
Yeah.
Jeremy Brown. Guys, you hear these things, and Bill knows this, and David knows that for sure because he loves to hunt, fish, and whatever it might be. But these people that work for the Game and Fish Commission, whether in Mississippi, Tennessee, or Arkansas, or Missouri, or Kentucky, there's some dedicated employees, right, Bill Cooksey?
Absolutely. And they don't get the appreciation they deserve from a whole lot of the public.
No, and I know the Tennessee Wildlife Federation does its great job of picking out winners that I go to every year for those award winners. But anyway, salute to Jeremy Brown. All right, let's take another break. We've got to wake up David Beal over the Bassin Man's over there. We got to get him going right after this. Hang on now, David. Don't leave me yet. We're going to talk one more time to God's. I know this thing. I shouldn't say that. We're going to talk to one more time about Arkansas. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We're already in the 4th segment. Shelby can't believe that. Shelby McCall is pushing the buttons. We're rolling in what do we call this guy, Trebo?
The fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio. Just tell me what it is, Larry.
I'm mouthing it over here. Can you not?
I know, but
I got a big mouth.
Well, I don't see that well.
Okay, you don't see that well.
All
right, you got to quit wearing those
glasses. It's fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio programming.
Okay.
Could we just say outdoor radio?
No, we got to get that. Can we get that chartered or whatever you call it?
Copyrighted? I'll put it on the website.
All right. David, Beal, you're still over there, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
He's wearing camo and he's matching the wall here in the Grizzly studio.
That's right.
This. And, of course, Bill Cooksey's on the line as he's departing for South Africa. You know, I don't know what bus he's on, but I'm hoping he's in the air. But, Bill, this next guest, I know you know. I've known for a long time when he was a young man and got the smart thing and got out of the newspaper business. And I don't think, Bill, he hadn't been an editor of the Mid-South Hunting and Fishing News, has he? Everybody else has.
I don't think so.
Okay. Cooksey has, I haven't, I don't know. But I don't know. But we've got Trey Reid on with us. He is the Arkansas Game and Fish. And, yes, this is back-to-back Arkansas Game and Fish segments. It's my show. I can do it after 25 years. He is Assistant Chief of Communications. Recently, our good friend Trey was named Ducks Unlimited, right here based out of Memphis, 2025 Conservation Communicator of the Year. First of all, Trey, congratulations, buddy. And it's only then do we realize your background. I mean, because they say everything but how tall you are. You know, you get all these things, but it's from your standpoint, Trey. I mean, you've been in the newspaper field, you've been with ESPN, you've worked for the Game and Fish Commission. put it in perspective to win this award, because we know how important Ducks Unlimited is to not only this show as a sponsor, but for other things. Tell us, Trey.
Well, yeah, Larry, first of all, thanks for having me on, and I appreciate the congratulations. I mean, it's a tremendous honor. Y'all were joking about people who had edited Mid-South Hunting and Fishing. I haven't edited that, but I did edit a couple of fly fishing magazines.
You did? That's right. Okay.
Okay. So close enough, right?
Yes.
No, man, obviously ducks are really important to Arkansas, and they're really important to me, man. I have you said you have known me you knew me when I was a younger man. I'll turn 55 in July.
Oh, you didn't have to tell us that. No, okay.
But the point of that is that I've been duck hunting in Arkansas for 50 years. I mean, My dad took me the first time when I was 4 years old, and it's at that people are like, nah, there's no way. But I have, man, and ducks and the places they live have meant a lot to me for a very long time, and so to be recognized for work that is related to something that I am so passionate about and care so much about, it's just a tremendous honor.
And Bill, you hear this, and you know Trey, and I know Trey for a long time. At the same time, we know how important Ducks Unlimited is, not just to the Memphis area, which I still don't think people know what goes on behind those bushes and everything at Walnut Grove, and they see the duck flag, and what's going on over there? But we know how important it is, and this award means a lot, doesn't it, Bill?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, there is no waterfowl organization like Ducks Unlimited. They're huge. They are the big dog.
Yes.
And they're a big part of the reason that ducks have fared as well as they have.
Yeah.
So, this award is incredible, and Trey's the right guy to get it for sure.
Well, we know, Trey, when you look at this thing, and I was reading the press release, who I don't know wrote. I'm sure you didn't. But
not this one.
Yeah, not this one. But you've written a few in your lifetime, I know.
Indeed.
But something jumped out at that for me because, I was probably the least likely person to ever be the outdoor editor of the Commercial Appeal, not knowing that I would be only the fourth in 100 years and that I would be the last with that title. When I read your background and how much ducks and waterfowl mean to you, and I looked up and I saw Nash Buckingham and Ernest Hemingway's name. Those two guys are pretty amazing to think about those in the same sentence. So talk about that.
It is, and there's been a lot of influences, but both of those guys duck hunted at Arkansas.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Nash lost Bo Whoop in on the White River bottom.
Yes.
I mean, it's over in you talk about DU headquarters there in East Memphis, Germantown, whatever. I mean, it's there. I mean, Ernest Hemingway's second wife, Pauline Pfeiffer's from Piggott, Arkansas.
That's right.
There's a Hemingway Pfeiffer Museum up there at Arkansas State University. But I mean, yeah, man. I mean, you both of those guys have been inspirational. Many others. I used to read Larry Ray's columns in the Memphis Commercial Appeal too. But man, it's just been, I've been very blessed and fortunate throughout my life to do some things I love, man. It's trite and it's a cliche. They say, find something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I don't know if I agree with that 100%. It still works sometimes, but
it's still,
it sure is fun and rewarding to be able to go to work and enjoy what you do. And now in my role with Arkansas Game and Fish, it's extremely rewarding to do work that makes a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, these are things that I care. I mean, I care about ducks and wetlands and other waterfowl as well. I mean, because I'm a consumer. I mean, I'm a duck hunter and have been for a long time, and I love it. But but to be able to go to work and to talk about projects and things that we've got going on in Arkansas right now, and try to, kind of communicate some of that science behind waterfowl management to the public and try to, engender better understanding and appreciation for what's going on and what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's incredibly rewarding, man. I mean, it's like you feel good about going to work. And so, I mean, again, man, I'm extremely fortunate to be able to do the work I do and really really appreciate the opportunity to be able to do it.
Well, you're a storyteller. I feel like I'm a storyteller. I can't remember birthdays, but I can remember things that happened in the duck blind or the deer blind, whatever
Absolutely.
it might be, over the years. And I think, and I have to admit, I pull out my Chubby Andrews, the Nash Buckingham book every once in a while and look through it. I pull out Steve Bowman, Steve Wright?
Oh, yes, Bowman and Wright, Arkansas Duck Hunters Almanac.
Yeah, I pull those out and look, and I know Cooksey's killed a lot more ducks than I have. And, of course, he's, I've got one band, and the guy almost fought me over that, okay? But I'm just telling he was a pastor. He was a pastor, too. But I'm just saying, we're making memories. And in your position as a communicator, how important is that to communicate with the world what you do, Trey? I mean,
well, I think you hit the nail on the head, Larry, when you said storyteller, and that's what it says on my Instagram profile. It doesn't say writer, it doesn't say broadcaster, it doesn't say producer. It's a storyteller.
Yeah.
Because,
yeah.
I've done a lot of it. I host a radio show over here at Little Rock weekly.
Yes.
I still do some freelance writing in the fly fishing space primarily. But I'm an old newspaper. I'm an inky wretch. I am first and foremost a writer. But now, I don't write as much as I used to. But I do a lot of video production for Game and Fish, and I'm doing a lot of media appearances. All that, it all boils down to telling a story. And I think the story of conservation is a great story to tell. There may not be a better story. It's about short-term sacrifice for long-term benefits.
Yes.
It's about, again, man, it's so easy to fall into these cliches, but it's planting a tree today that I'm never going to enjoy the shade. I'm never going to sit under the shade of that tree, but I know that my kids and grandkids and future generations will. So it's, and again, coming back to some of the work that I do for Game and Fish, some of these concepts, I think, in that press release it mentions that they're complicated. People aren't always happy about the stories I'm telling them, through the media with some of the things we've got going on with Green Tree Reservoir restoration and renovations and preserving the future of bottomland hardwood forest here in the Arkansas portion of the Mississippi Delta. And, we're asking duck hunters in a lot of cases to hey, I know it's going to be something that may be inconvenient for you. You may not be able to count on managed water, on the first opening day of the season. And it's not going to be as consistent and predictable. But if we want to enjoy these things that mean so much to us, or we want our children and grandchildren again and future generations to be able to enjoy it, we've got to do these things. And it's a hard story to tell, but it's an important story to tell, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to be able to do that.
Well, I think we can look around this room. I got David Beal over there because he's a fishing phenomenal guy, and I know your uncle David got you going right, and I know Bill Cooksey was fortunate to have a dad that was really in the outdoors.
Oh yeah,
and then
like Trey, he first took me along at 4.
Yeah, well, I can think of my Uncle Perry, who was at Utah Beach and won the Purple Heart and things like that. My dad was a used car salesman. When I told him I interviewed Vincent Lombardi, he said, I know him. He sells cars in Cabot, Arkansas. My dad didn't have a clue and nothing about that. But anyway, Trey, again, congratulations, buddy. Well-deserved. I know our good friends at DU were happy to do that. And let's stay in touch. Let's don't just talk every 10 years. Okay, Trey?
Absolutely, Larry. Let's go fishing, man, or shoot a duck something.
Let's go. We got that, buddy. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you down the road. Okay, Trey Reid.
Thanks again. Y'all take care.
All right, let's take a break, and we're fixing to move into a little fishing news now. We're not leaving Arkansas. We're getting close. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. I don't know how many times I've said that over the past 25 years, and I know we're on an Arkansas trip this morning, but we will conclude this, believe me, in the final segment of today's show. We will switch gears and do a little Mid-South fishing with David Beal. and his other brother, David, by another mother, okay?
That's right.
David Best. But we're going to switch up and head up to Gaston's. I haven't talked to our good friends at Gaston's in a long time with Clint and all the gang up there. And, of course, that is one of my favorite places. I've made so many memories up there. Still my record, that 30-inch brown, and it was a 10-pound brown. I don't remember what it is. It's big. I got it on my Facebook page.
We put it on the site before.
We got it on the site before, but they're in the memory-making business, and so we're going to talk right now to our good friend Jake Hanson, Jacob, if you want to call him by his official name, but I don't know if he goes by that. But he is the general manager at Gaston's White River Resort. Good Saturday morning, Jake.
Hey, Larry, how are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. So we're in March. We're on the 22nd of March. We've had a lot of storms. We've had a lot of rain. We've had a lot of wind. And so let's find out what's going on fishing-wise on the White, because, golly, even the wind coming up that river on the north or whatever it might be, tell us what's going on at Gaston's fishing-wise.
Man, right now it's an exciting time to be out on the water. And it doesn't matter what type of fisherman you are. I mean, if you like being in a boat, every day they're offering either a bunch of water, then in the afternoon they'll turn it off, or if you want to wade fish, you can do that. So a little bit of everything for everybody. It's a great time to be here.
And I know we got certain times that the waters are closed and all like that, and we're still in, I guess the first day of spring was Thursday. What are we doing as far as schedules and any plans going on right now? Any discounts? Anytime is the restaurant open? People are talking. I hate to say this, but they ask a lot about the restaurant, Jake. So give us.
I don't blame him. Chef Rick does a great job.
Chef Rick does a wonderful. What's going on with the restaurant now?
Man, really, they're wide open right now. They're still doing their Sunday brunches with that famous salad boat that they have.
Okay.
And you can make a meal just by doing the salad boat.
Yeah. Well, I need to gain some weight, Jake. So just count on me coming up in May sometime, because my cancer took its toll. I lost 13 pounds, and everybody says, "Where can you go to get weight back on that skinny guy?" I said, "I know where I can go. It's about 5 hours away." Okay. I mean,
we'll take you. Come on.
I can head up there, and so the fishing wise, you just mentioned. Cooksey's listened to this because we used to come up there with our group and everything.
I used to be there every year for spring break with little Bill.
You were, weren't you, Bill? That's Bill
right
Cooksey.
This time of year.
He's with the Tennessee Wildlife Federation now, Jake. But there's so many memories. You guys are in the memory-making business. Not only that, but you were mentioning about the water flow. So that they've got the generators working probably in the mornings. Is that right, you said?
Yeah, in the mornings they've had, I don't want to call it a lot of water, but they've had, 2 to 4 units of water going all morning, and then a little bit after lunch they trickle it down to minimum flow or just above, and that's totally wadeable at that point. So.
Yes, yeah. And you guys, how many generators they got?
Bull Shoals Dam has a total of 8.
8 generators, because people, you're talking about, if you've been to the Little Red, that's why they called it the Little Red. They ought to call this the Big White.
Yeah, it's a lot of water when they get going. Some 20, I can't remember, 26,000 CFS when all 8 generators are rolling.
Yeah.
It's scooting along.
And you've had some storms. People have asked me that because my family was over in Arkansas last weekend visiting family from California, and I know my cousin's wife from San Jose had never been through a tornado warning before, I don't think. But I think she slept through it. I don't know. She didn't tell me that. But you have a lot of storms, so what's the situation as far I'm hoping that Gaston and Lakeview and Gassville and all that places up there survived, didn't have any stuff like our poor folks in Diaz and Tuckerman and some of those other places. Did y'all dodge that?
We dodged it for the most part. We didn't really have any wind damage here, but we had a little bit of hail. Like I said, some quarter-size hail came down for just a little bit, but didn't do any damage to any vehicles that I know of.
Good. Okay.
I think we were pretty fortunate, pretty lucky there. So
let's talk about if people are coming for the first time, folks. You better get in the line because I know Mother's Day is a big deal over there. We've already had Valentine's and things along that line. Talk about what you guys offer.
Sorry, say it to me again.
Well, talk about what you guys offer. I mean, you got guides, you got the cabins, you got all these different kind of things. But I do recommend folks, if you're first timers, I know Cooksey will say this and Guy will say this, that you need to get one of your guides, and you really have some top-notch guides, don't you, Jake?
Absolutely. I got 11 total, and they're all great.
11 guides.
I got a personality that'll match anybody.
Is that what you try to do? Match those personalities? Yeah. Well,
that's what we try to do.
Well, I know our good buddy from Bologna, my hometown area up there, Levi Mosier, is a nice young man, but you got 11 guys. So tell them how they can get more information, and we'll let you go. Tell me, Jake, how they get more information.
You can either go to our website, which is gaskins.com, and check out what we have. But availability is going to be, you have to call me. That's going to be 870-431-5202.
We'll get all that on LarryRay.com for you folks. All right, Jake, thank you, buddy. We'll probably talk to you next month again. Hope to see you in May, okay, man?
All right, Larry, take it easy.
Tell everybody hello for me up there, too, okay?
Will do.
All right, let's do it. All right. Jake Hanson. All right, good to have Jake on the line with us. And, let's talk a little fishing, David.
Yep.
Kind of a tease on this next segment. Cooksey's listed in and everything. He's going to South Africa. We could care less. All right, now we want to find
I'm with Cooksey. I wish I could be.
We may have a prayer for Cooksey before we leave the show here, but okay. But he didn't come back with a new accent. That's all I care about. Okay, but David, this weather has been goofy. Talk about that from your perspective.
Yeah, me and Guy over here were just discussing that just a little minute ago about this crazy weather.
Yes.
Actually, he asked me would I have been fishing, and I had to agree to it because I'm an avid angler, and one of the things that we do is compete against the elements.
Yes.
That is one of the top competitions, the elements. You know, any given angler, we know that can go out there and catch a fish, can catch one.
Yeah.
But who can battle the elements?
Yeah.
I think that's the tail of the tape right there, Larry.
I think they're doing it right now in Fort Worth on Ray Roberts Lake.
Absolutely.
Where they're dealing with 40-mile-an-hour wind. Can you imagine? Of course, they're not out there in kayaks.
Yeah.
Right, Cooksey? I mean, these guys.
I've had situations like that.
It looks rough. I've seen the pictures of it and things along that line. So safety right now. Let's talk safety because, Bill, you're up on Kentucky Lake. I've been on Kentucky Lake when how dangerous it was. I've been on Reelfoot Lake when I thought I wasn't coming home. It's 8 feet deep.
Our water level's going up and down. Now there's been debris everywhere.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It's not just the wind. It's, there's all kinds of stuff this time of year that can mess you up on the water.
Mm-hmm.
And David, this is fishing time normally. I mean, we're in late March here.
Yes. Don't stop the fishing. You just again, you have to be safe. And hey, Bill, I was up on speaking of Kentucky Lake. I was at a TBF national competition a few years back, man, and we had to they had to cancel one of the days.
Wow.
I got caught out there, man.
Yeah.
Kentucky can get really bad when that wind come across Big Sandy. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Oh yeah.
Especially you get that wind coming from the north, and they're pulling current.
Yes.
That current's pushing right into the wind, and it just builds the swells up.
Yeah, man. And I got into some swells out there, and I had to turn around when I passed that bridge.
Well, that's the thing now. If it's been 75 one day and 55 the next, folks, that water temperature is not going to be 75. I mean, we got to watch hypothermia. We got to watch.
Yes.
I've seen some of those big barges going up the Mississippi, and they're struggling. You know, and you see the white caps on the Mississippi. I've seen white caps on Reelfoot, and I guarantee you'll think, well, you're safe in McKellar in there, but you got to be safe wherever you go, right?
Yeah. Well, speaking of being safe in McKellar, one of the things that are unknown about McKellar.
What?
When these times are like this, when the waves and the rollers get pretty big, McKellar is chock full of dropped debris.
Drop debris. Okay.
Yes, like pylons they have torn down. One of the most iconic things they tore down was that track across from the ramp.
Oh yeah.
And when the water is up like it is now, and those swells get to rolling, and you think you're safe, but when that swell come up and go down, it'll crash you right on top.
It will
of some of that metal, and it happened to a partner of mine.
Yeah, and I know we got a couple of minutes here, Bill. I know from your perspective on Kentucky Lake, what are you hearing?
Well, this spring has been doggone good. I've had some great crappie days. Our old friend Jake Latondras, you remember we had him on the show? He was filming up here at the Bassmaster Open here a few weeks ago, and he was in the boat with the Japanese guy who won.
Yes.
And Jake was texting me, said, man, this is incredible. He's torching smallmouths, big ones in 5 feet of water just going up a bank.
Torching them.
Torching them.
So you don't know the weather's ever changing. Hopefully this front that moved through this week, got a little rain coming in again Sunday. That I know the Cardinals are here Monday playing the Redbirds, so they get some good weather there. But I predict the Redbirds will win more games than the Cardinals. I hate to say that. No, but
that ought to be a good game, though.
Yeah, that ought to be a good game. If they lose to our Redbirds, it's pretty bad for them. But anyway, let's take a break. Cooksey's still on the line. David Beal in studio. Guy Trebo in studio. We're going to talk Mid-South Fishing Update with our two David. It's the D&E Show. We'll come back with David Best and David Beal on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Be right back.
Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, B&M Poles, and Ducks Unlimited.
Saturday morning. Let's wrap this baby up today on this March the 22nd. And we've been dealing with a lot of weather inside our area. You folks in Brownsville on 1520 AM and 95.3 FM. And, of course, in Jackson, News Talk 101.5. I guess you guys get this show to respond sometime so we know you're out there. But right here in Memphis every Saturday morning from 9 to 10:30 on AM 790. And we really appreciate Ducks Unlimited, B&M Poles, TWRA being our sponsor. If you would like to be a sponsor of Outdoors with Larry Ray, not only the show, but the website, go to LarryRay.com. And how do we spell Larry Ray? Guy Trebo.
Really? You don't know how to spell your own name?
No, I want to make sure the people know.
All right. It's L.A.
Because people keep saying I can't get your website because they spell my name wrong. You know,
Larry, of course, and then R-E-A. I get it.
That's the correct.
They always put R-A-Y.
R-H-E-A, and we notched the H out a long time ago in my family.
That's really crazy.
Okay. All right, thank you.
But R-E-A.
R-E-A. All right. It's our D&D segment, and I know you've been sounding, we're never going to get out of Arkansas. Let's talk local here. So we have our two of our favorite. Ron Wong's sick, and we don't get him any sicker, but we have our David Beal. And we have David Best from S.Y. Wilson and Primary Tackle out in Arlington. Who better to talk Mid-South fishing than these two guys? So let's kick it off with Mr. Best. Crazy weather this week, David Best. Talk about how we're dealing with this thing fishing-wise.
So good morning, everybody. Yeah, we deal with this when we're in this kind of weather in the spring. We get lots of muddy water, lots of cold water. But we get some warmer water coming in too, and that's what we're really hoping for and looking for as we get these rains in. As we have the warmer ones, that's warming the water temperature up. It's going to help push the fish a little shallower. We're still not there yet, although I have had a few fish reported being caught pretty shallow. But for the most part, those big girls are all sitting in about 6 or 10 foot of water still, right close to those places that we expect for them to be shallow in the spring, but not quite there yet. But they're getting there.
All right, David Bill, you heard that. He's talking about big girls. Big girls don't cry. So, I mean, tell us about that, fishing-wise for you.
That's right. We always call them big girls. We love to put our hands on them.
Yeah, listen, no little girls. That's right.
No, we don't want no little
Watch
girls
it
this
now.
time of year.
Watch it now. We got a 10-second rule here. Come on.
This time of year, you like to have a big girl.
Yes.
And the thing about that is, just like David said, I want to piggyback that because sometimes you can catch one or two here, shallow because it is kind of warming up. And those winds, we were talking about weather earlier, and those winds are really, really helping. It seems like it's hurting, but it's actually helping.
All right.
And what it does, it helps warm up that shallow water a little bit quicker when those winds are like that. So sometimes that's how we target, some of the shallow waters. Depending on which way the wind is blowing in the spring. If we can get wind like we had in the past week, some of that warm south wind, oh man, we're on to something. If we don't get a big cold front like we did.
So what are we using for these little girls, David Beal?
All right, and so what I'm using right now is going to be a chatterbait. You know what I mean? That's just a common bait to throw, a good search bait, and of course me.
Square bill crankbait.
You already know I'm throwing a square bill crankbait. I'm gonna be swinging that thing through them trees.
Yes,
because for me that's a very high confident bait this time of year for me, and I can cover a whole lot of water with it.
And that's what we want now, right, David Best? I mean, we're covering some water here. I mean, because you're on the move, right? I mean, we're moving.
Yeah, you're going to be covering water unless you just really happen to fall up on one of those little points or where it's a channel swing or something and there's a lot of fish grouped up. You're trying to cover as much water as you can. I mean, my favorite bait this time of year is going to be that rattle trap or red eye shad and a spinner bait. That's going to be the two things I'm going to be throwing and slinging, along with a little jig or a Texas rig for if there's something I just really want to see and spend some time on. But that's David's right on target with covering the water right now. That's an important piece of what we're doing.
So where would you go now? Where will you go? Next week's supposed to be good. We're going to get back in the 70s, high 60s, maybe get some stabilization here. David Best, where are you recommending for folks next week?
I mean, Pickwick's been a little high and muddy, so there's a few guys struggling over there, but there's some fish to be caught. They're always going to catch them. Somebody's always going to catch them there.
Yeah.
I mean, my go-tos this time of year for me personally is going to be like horseshoe. It's going to be some of the smaller TWA stuff that gets warmer a little bit quicker just because it's shallower and smaller. It makes it a little easier to cover that water and figure out where those fish are too, though, because the biggest thing is when you get a bite, pay attention to where you got it and what it was doing.
Well,
and then just duplicate that everywhere else in the lake that looks similar.
What's the status at Herb Parsons? What are we hearing from there? Is it still closed? Or is it?
No, it's open now. You can still get a boat in and out. Water's came up a little bit with all this rain, so there's guys putting some good sized boats in there. It is definitely some good fish to be caught. I've seen a few pictures of some really good ones that have been caught in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, somebody sent me a picture, and they were in a kayak. Which we got to mention when we talk to David.
That's right.
He's our kayak man.
That's right.
This is the time of the year. Let's get on this thing. To talk about the kayak fishing in late March, and April's got to be a kayak month to me.
Oh, yeah. Late March, early April is about when my guys really get started. They've already had their first term of the year. They're going to be at Bay Springs. Well, they're at Bay Springs right now.
Okay.
They got a big kayak event there today. You're going to have some, this is when it gets good. I mean, we got a big one coming April the 6th on the Tennessee River.
Yes, where is that? Where's that out of? Where's that?
They're going to base it out of Paris, but you can launch from wherever you need to launch from in their little boundaries.
Okay, and that's on April the 6th, right?
Yeah, it's on April the 6th. There'll be about 110 boats at that event, I'm sure.
That's amazing.
So it'll be fun, or April 5th.
April 5th. Okay, folks, put that on your calendar, April the 5th, and that will be 100 kayaks. I mean,
yeah, at least.
At least.
Yeah.
And the sport itself, we're coming up to warm weather. This is the time that people might be interested. I got through the boat show, and when I see a $114,000 bass boat, David Beal, I thought of you.
That's right.
I saw the price tag, and nothing against Tracy Williams, the good folks at Performance Marine down in. But I see a boat like that. Then I see the kayaks that David Best had out there at the boat show. This is the time. If you're considering that, I highly recommend you stop off and see David Best out there because he's going to shoot you straight. And this is the time maybe beginners want to get involved, right, David?
Yeah, we're already we've been selling quite a few here the last couple of weeks. We're having our big kayak spring sales event on the 29th.
29th of March.
Yep.
Oh, right. Okay, next week.
Next week. We're gonna have boats out in the side lot for people to look at in the tents just in case it rains. But we'll have a lot of different setups going on out there. We'll have boats that have trolling motors on them, boats with all kinds of different trolling motor styles on them, just so people can kind of see what they're looking for and get some ideas of how they might want to rig their kayak out.
And you got how many kayak companies do you represent out there? How many you got?
We sell Hobie, New Canoe, and Jackson, mostly Hobie and New Canoe. those are our two biggest brands.
Okay.
That's the two that we sell the most of. But I mean, lots of options. Just got a new shipment of new canoes yesterday.
Oh, really?
So we got lots of choices there. Some great new colors as well. So
anywhere from what to what? What are we talking about here?
I mean, we can sell you a kayak anywhere from $600 to $6,000. You tell me what you want on it.
Wow. All right, David. Thank you, buddy.
Right.
David Best. And David Beal, before we close this baby out, give us where David Beal would go fishing next week if he didn't have a real job.
I'm hoping that be my real job one day.
I know it is, but right now, where would you go? And David Best is listening.
I would love where I started is the little off in the wood lakes.
There you go.
Where a lot of people don't have boats.
Yes.
And not even kayaks, but these guys are bank anglers.
Yes.
And a lot of these back off in the woods lakes this time of year, it's protected from the wind.
Yeah.
You know, you're still going to get that rain and stuff, but a lot of these areas are protected from the wind and things of that nature.
Yes.
And these could be good fish catching times right there in those kind of lakes right there.
Okay.
Just for the bank guys, you know.
There you go.
You know, I love to target the bank guys as well. We won't leave them out.
Yes, but not only if you go out and look for a new kayak, get you a life jacket too, buddies. Because the life jackets, the evolution of the life jacket has changed a lot since I had that cushion I used to sit on. You know, when you throw it out there. But you got life jackets, don't you, David Best?
We do. We have life jackets here, and you've always heard me say it. In a kayak, that's one thing I tell everybody, you do it every time.
Yes. Do it every time.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, David Best. Have a great weekend, buddy. We'll talk to you down the road, all right? Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, David Best. Let me tell you about next week's show. We're hoping Mr. Wong will be back, and we can get somebody from the Classic, maybe Chad Gay or somebody down there, talk about how it went in Fort Worth. And remember, next year, it's in Knoxville. Right, Bill Cooksey? Cooksey's gone. Okay.
I'm picking Art Defoe already.
You're already picking Art Defoe for next year?
I was just talking to David. How many times, guys, that if they're hometown water?
Yeah.
Right.
Hamner last year.
That's right.
That's right.
He knew that place.
Well,
Art Defoe won when it was in Knoxville the last time, and he's probably going to win it again.
Already picking it out, huh?
I'm picking it right now.
Well, Cooksey's already gone to South Africa. So
and you know what? How many times have you've had, I don't know how many times it's been that you've interviewed the preview show and the winner ended up being from the preview show.
Many times.
And we've gotten to interview them after they won.
Many times.
Yeah.
So they're all talking about David Beal. They were talking about 70 pounds in 3 days at Lake Ray Roberts.
Yeah, man. Ray Roberts got some
big lake. Anyway, let's talk about next week. Hope Mr. Wong will be back. Frank Barton will be in studio.
Frank Barton.
So we're going to have a little update on the Sultana Museum in Marion. It is really coming along, folks. If you have not been to the new museum in Marion, the Sultana Disaster Museum is a must-see. And you go right down the street and go to John Tacker's Shake Shack. And I need to be over there 2 or 3 times next week as I continue to stuff my face.
Put that weight on.
Getting that weight on and be back in the middleweight category and everything. And again, Shelby, thank you. Shelby McCall taking care of David Beal, Massive Man, Hillbilly, thank you for being here.
That'd be me.
And Mr. Trebo.
Yes, sir.
LarryRay.com. I know where it is. I know how to spell it. I'm just telling everybody to go do it, you know.
I'm checking on you, man.
You're checking on me like that, okay? All right. This is Larry Ray reminding you each and every week, it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And also, what is it, Bess? God bless the USA.